Welcome to GrantForward, the April 2019. This is a difficult time, and our purpose today is to discuss how to find COVID-19 related funding opportunities. That's our purpose number one. Of course, we will have a purpose number two, which is how to use GrantForward. So in short, today I would like to show you how to use GrantForward, the funding search and the recommendation service, to find the COVID-19 or the new coronavirus related funding opportunities. You will see our compilation of COVID-19 related grants. That's number one, how to use it. You will also use this as a topic to learn about the general capability of GrantForward for finding funding opportunities beyond this special topic. Okay, so let's get started. So first of all, I'd like to show you the page we have compiled for your convenience about COVID-19. So if your purpose is simply to see the list of COVID-19 related grants, and there are a lot recently from different funding agencies, public and private. If your purpose is to see this list, well, we have this compiled for you. When you come to GrantForward, you will see this link. Okay, let me show you how to do this. Let me open a new browser. So I'm opening a new browser here. If I come to GrantForward, you will show this special dialog box. It says that as the COVID-19 situation continues to evolve, so GrantForward have maintained and will continue to maintain an updated list of relevant grants. You can simply click on View here. You will see this list of the relevant grant here, which I have already opened in my browser here. So let me close this one. So this is how you can navigate to this page. This page, we specifically compile grants that we have collected from different funding sources about COVID-19. And here, it has currently 595 results here. Okay, so you can see, for example, the first one is a special call for COVID-19 project. It's from CIT. The second one is Aging for Disparity, something about COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, and you can scroll down the list here to see different pages of the whole list of 595. And for each grant of interest, for example, I can click on the grant. It will show you the detailed summary of this grant, the description, the sponsors, the CFDA number. These are classification of government agencies, funding source, grant type, and the other information. Let's close this. Of course, 595 might be too large a list for us to manually sift through all these funding opportunities. And that's why you can apply filters. The filters here, for example, you want to see the grants that have imminent, the coming deadlines that are soon. Let's look at grants that might be due, say, from the beginning of May. We do need some time to write a good proposal. So the beginning of May to maybe the end of May, these are the grants I would like to prioritize. So here I see there are 77 results out of the 595 that we saw earlier. Okay, so for example, the first one is May 08, 2020. This is a grant call from US Department of Health and Human Service. Okay, the second one is May 01. Here you can see the summary of the title, the sponsor amount. Okay, so you can also filter by amount. For example, if you are looking for grants that are more, well, they are larger, sizable, let's say from, let's try $500,000. Okay, there are 33 results. So we have reduced through the use of filter of deadline and amount to reduce from the originally about 600 grants to now 33. And there are other filters. You can filter by applicant locations. You can filter by activity locations. For example, if you are you want to make sure that grants you are looking at are something you can apply from your location, because some grants might be specific to a location such as New York City or California, and you may not be located there. In that case, you can specify your location. And I'm speaking from University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign. We are in Illinois, so I can simply click this map bubble. You will fill in my home location or the location of my home institution, and therefore all the grants will be applicable, can be applied from this location. I can also include more of other locations. Say if I'm also affiliated with other institutions in Illinois. Say if I'm affiliated with, say, U of Chicago, so then I can include Illinois. I'm also affiliated with Indiana, so I can include all these other locations I'm affiliated with, include them. And I will make sure that I also check this include unspecified, because many grants do not have a specific location restriction. We want to include them as well. Okay, so now I've narrowed down grants from 33 earlier to only 23. It's time that I should carefully go through this small list. These are grants that will be due in the month of May. That, is sizable. At least 500,000 that I'm interested in because I am ambitious, and grants that I can perform, I can apply from my location here. It's Illinois and Indiana. Okay, through this I show you how you could actually take advantage of this short list of, let me reset everything, of about 600 grants, and we are updating this regularly. And you can apply filters, and this is in fact a small part of the entire capability and the database that GrantForward here can provide you. And that's my next purpose in today's webinar. And this is one of our regular monthly webinar to show researchers how to use GrantForward to find the funding opportunities to fuel to power up your research agenda. Although I've shown you how you could take advantage of our spatial compilation of COVID-19 grants, you may want to learn more generally how to use GrantForward as an effective tool to find research grants. Okay, that's my next purpose. I will continue to use COVID-19 or infectious disease or pandemic as our topic to search for grants from our broader, larger database of grants. So my next purpose, I will therefore go through this GrantForward Researcher Welcome Guide. This is a document that we send to our member institutions. And I believe you are from our member institutions because you joined this webinar through our newsletter, which we send regularly to our member institutions. So I will use this welcome guide to show you the key capabilities of GrantForward that you should know in order to use it as an effective tool to find the grants. And it can be grants on COVID-19, it can be grants on your other longer term research agenda. So I will go through the capabilities from creating an account, doing simple keyword search, and the more advanced search, all the way to creating your profile that describes your research interest and to receive grant recommendations. As a highlight, I want to emphasize, as I just demonstrated, we were searching grants among the COVID-19 matching grants. The other very important functionality of GrantForward is to receive grant recommendation. You don't need to come to GrantForward to perform manual search all the time. You could simply tell GrantForward your research interest. And therefore, recommendation is another pillar capability. We will introduce both search and recommendation. So now let's start again our second phase. I would like to give you a very quick introduction of GrantForward overall. Okay, so I have already logged into my GrantForward account. If you do not have an account yet, you should sign up for one. And the process is pretty easy. I've already logged out. So you can click on this sign up button. You will come to this create an account on GrantForward page. You simply fill in your email, and your email should be associated. For example, my name at Illinois. This is my home institution. GrantForward actually has been created at the University of Illinois for a very long time before it is transferred to a group of computer science faculty and students to continue to develop GrantForward, this tool. So therefore, we are mostly affiliated with illinois.edu, and you have your home institution. As soon as you fill in your email, and the system will then show your institution name, University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. You fill in your name. Okay, you give your password, and just like anything, they want you to repeat one more time. And then you can also select your department, okay, so that the administrator of the service can manage users from different departments. You can select your user type, student or researchers. GrantForward is a very useful funding tool, funding database, not only for researchers, but also for students, like a PhD student, graduate student, or undergraduate, to look for research-related funding. And therefore, if you specify your user type, GrantForward will tailor the filters to your status. And after that, you click on Create My Account. You will receive an email in your inbox, or maybe in your spam folder. Make sure you check that. Then you can click on that to validate that you have entered the correct email address. I already have an account, so I won't click on that. Let me just log in. Okay, so I have logged in here. I can see my name at the upper right corner. You can see here it says institution, University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, and the owner of account here. I'm using a real professor at this university, computer science, and he has a permission here, administrator, means he can actually manage the service at this institution. Okay, you as an end user, you will see member or researcher here. You can go to your account setting to customize everything, such as your password, or change your name, or change your user status type here, and other notification settings, such as the emails you want to receive here. Okay, but let's go back. Okay, so now this is the GrantForward, the interface that you will see. You will see everything here except this administrator console. You will see this tab. You will see this one only if your account is administrator. Okay, good. So now let me quickly walk through the different aspects of GrantForward before we come to search grants. The first one is grants, which means funding opportunity. And GrantForward here, I should remove this keyword. Okay, GrantForward without any search keywords, without any additional filter, it shows 27,000 open or continuous, which means active grants. And if I enter keywords such as COVID-19, you see it is 786, more than the special page we have compiled, because this is more up to date. And we can do a lot more search capability later. So I will come back to show you how to find funding opportunities using this grant search interface under the grant tab. I will also show you how to do recommendation to receive grants related to COVID-19 or your other research interest. So this is the grant tab. The next tab is search award project. Why do we have this? GrantForward is actually not limited to just funding opportunities, which means future funding opportunities that you can apply. It also has past awards, and this is under the award tab here. It means the proposals, the projects that have been approved, that have been awarded, and they are up and running. So why do we have this? Because GrantForward aims to support the entire pre-award funding information need. Pre-award means before money is wired into your account. Okay, so why would you be interested about this of awarded project information? When you are writing a grant, a proposal. You might be wondering what has been funded in the past about, say, infectious disease. So you can enter keywords like infectious disease. You do a search. If you find there are about 200,000 proposals, well, projects that have been funded in the past 2 decades. Okay, GrantForward Index funded the project from major funding agencies such as government and major foundations such as Gates Foundation that publish their funding records. And it has about 750,000 awarded project here. And I'm searching for infectious disease, which is a big area. And I see about 200,000. And the first one is a project at Stanford University. It was in 2015, and it was about 1.8 million. Okay, you can sort them by the say award amount. You see, the first one is 161 million. Okay, and it was in 2013. It's already finished, and it's sorted by amount. You can sort by start date. And this one, 2020, 60,000. Okay, and for each awarded project, you can click on it. And this is 38,000, 2019, and this is awarded to University of Minnesota. And you can see the award, the title, a novel model for something. Okay, you can read the abstract. So this will be a very good reference for your finding what has been funded in the past. What topics have been getting funding? So we saw one question from our audience today is to learn what topics have been getting received the most funding. Well, we don't have that statistic yet. There's something on our roadmap, but that's precisely one of the reasons we added this award search through the feedback of our administrator friends at the different institutions. They told us they would like to help their members, their professors, to learn about what topics were fundable, or what institutions, or what experts are in different areas that are receiving money. Okay, award search is for this purpose. I hope you'll find it useful. So this is the award search. The next one is sponsors. GrantForward is, well, not surprisingly, we need to know where money comes from, and that's sponsor. So GrantForward is also a database of sponsors. Now, without any search condition, it has shown you 14,000 sponsors. So this is a list, a transparent list of sponsor agencies from A to Z, or from 1 to Z. We like to say we have 0 to Z, but I still couldn't find a sponsor whose name starts with 0. So 1 is a one-on-one lesson, or 10,000 degree, or let's see, take a look of anything, say 100 Women Charitable Foundation. This is a foundation, okay, and you have a description. You can click on go to sponsor website. It will take you to the website of the sponsor. It is the presence of such a website that allows us to discover the existence of a funding source, such as this foundation. And we will then, keep monitoring their website. For example, this apply for a grant tab. Here we will find out the grants they have published for people to apply. So this is an example. So now let me go back. I can go all the way to the Z part. This is the Zurich University of Applied Sciences. Let me go back. I can look at the big funding agencies such as National Science Foundation here. Let me search. You see National Science Foundation, it has 539 grants currently available at GrantForward. Okay, you can see the sub-sponsors, sub-organizations under National Science Foundation, such as if you are interested in information science, it has Directorate of Computer Science, Computer and Information Science, it has 66 grants. Okay, you can see the further sub-organizations within this directorate. So GrantForward here, I show you, is a tool for you to actually get a holistic view of a big sponsor like the National Science Foundation. And of course, if you are doing research in a specific area, well, everyone does. Okay, we all have our specialty. You can find out sponsors that are relevant to your research interest. For example, if you are working in cancer-related study, you may be wondering what sources may I possibly get money from? You'll be surprised here. Among the 14,000, let's try how many are sponsoring about cancer. In other words, they are mission specific. So I search keyword cancer. I see there are 114. Well, of course, very small number compared to the 14,000, but perhaps this is already more than what any researcher working in the niche area, special area like cancer would know about the complete list of their sponsors. For example, American Cancer Society, you may know about this. American Institute for Cancer Research, you may not have learned about this before. American Italian Cancer Foundation. Okay, so now you can also view this list of sponsors through maybe their type. Federal state, yes, 292 among the 14,000. This is relatively very small number, although their grant tend to be bigger. That's why you really need to go beyond grants.gov, because grants.gov only index the federal part of the federal state, not even state part. So it's a lot smaller than this 292. You will see a lot of grants coming from foundations, more than 8,000. This is important if you are working in, for example, social science, humanity, or even life sciences. Foundation is important. Corporate, this means companies, more than 1,000. Academic, this means universities that also support research through their foundation. Okay. International, although GrantForward, the focus on grants that US institutions can apply for, our sponsors are all over the world. And if their headquarters are not in US, they are regarded as international. So this is sponsor. Okay, next, GrantForward is also a database of researcher. So I'm seeing researchers within my university as well as across all institutions. If they make their profile public. Profile is a description of the researcher's research interest so that GrantForward can recommend the grants. I will talk a lot about this later, okay? Because researchers, professors like you, they want to be recommended grants, and therefore they build a profile here. For example, let's click on this first profile, and he is a professor at the University of Illinois. In fact, he is this account. You can see his research is about machine learning, about proximity, about web query, about node embedding. Looks like very much computer science. Yes, he is a professor in computer science. Okay, let's go to look at others. For example, she's a professor at Rochester Institute of Technology, and looking at the research interest is about gender in STEM. Okay, development series, unconscious bias, women engineering. You know, this is much more about education, gender equality or inequality, and other issues. Okay, so with this list of keywords, you can clearly see a researcher's footprint. This researcher is in social stress, in psychophysiological. If you are like me, you shouldn't have any idea about what this is. But these are all keywords that are dear to the researcher's heart. This describes their research interest. And because of this, they are able to, let me show you. Let me find out our example. So this is my inbox, okay? I'm showing you the recommendation. If you create your profile, you will see a recommendation email like this, grant recommendation from GrantForward, dear researcher, among the new opportunities, about 2,000 since last month. These are the recommendations, and with a list of summarize the grant with keyword highlighted. Okay, so this is a recommendation you will receive if you create, like these other researchers, your research profile. So therefore, GrantForward is also a researcher database for receiving grants specific to researchers' research interest, as well as for you to find your collaborators. Okay, so I talk about grants, awards, sponsors, researchers. I'm not going to talk about the administrator council. This is specific to an administrator who manage the service. I want to talk about support. Under the support tab, you'll find a lot of useful supporting educational material. For example, today I'm talking about the guides. I'm actually using this researcher welcome guide, which I open here. We have other welcome guide, such as for welcome guide for administrator, you will see how to manage GrantForward at your institution, such as to see the usage, to see which department is using it, which department is not using it. Maybe they did not know about it. Okay, you will also see other things such as a recorded webinar. Okay, so this webinar is also recorded. So a lot of useful material here, including also use cases, case study. There are many useful cases that we learned from our users, such as how can I use my personalized homepage, or let's see, how can I monitor and disseminate the new grants from my favorite sponsors? So this is use case. You want to monitor grants coming from NIH, maybe also from Gates Foundation, and then you can see our education material showing you how to actually achieve this purpose step by step, okay, by setting up a safe search, a search that will always run and retrieve new results that come from your favorite sponsors, therefore helping you to monitor grants coming from a sponsor or a list of sponsors. Now, I want to come back to the very beginning because I'm not done yet. The very beginning of your pre-award process starts from something we call the pre-solicitation. What is pre-solicitation? This means any announcement or maybe news that the funding agencies would like the research community to know about. So, for example, this first one, before I search for any keywords, is a notice of intent issued blah 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 about assisting federal facilities for the conservation of energy. Okay, it's from Office of Energy and Efficiency of Renewable Energy. It's a notice of intent. This is a very typical type of pre-solicitation. This means that the funding agency, in this case, is the Office of Energy Efficiency. They would like to publish a new funding opportunities, but the program has not been finalized, has not been released. They would like the funding agent, they would like the research community to know about this so they can start prepare for that. Okay, it might be some revision of a grant. This is competitive revision supplement of something. Okay, so if you are interested in some research area such as cancer, okay, doing a search here, you see this is about cancer related. This is fairly recent, February 13th. Let's see if we have anything on say COVID-19. Okay, so we have a lot of announcement about, it's more than 140 about COVID-19. Okay, announcement to support blah, 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 notice of intent to do something with COVID-19. Okay, so now you see pre-solicitation. GrantForward is the only service funding database that support pre-solicitation search because of the feedback from our friends, experts, at the different institutions from the Office of Sponsor Programs. They would like their members to stay ahead of the game, to know about related information about their research before others. So this one. Okay, good. So I have introduced the entire set of high-level capabilities. These are all listed at the top navigation bar here, menu bar, from pre-solicitation, announcement, grant, which means funding opportunity, award, funded project, sponsor, where your money comes from, researcher, your peer colleagues who do research. Okay, so now I would like to focus on grants. What I would like to do is to show you how to use GrantForward in a way that you will be able to compile this list of grant funding opportunities for COVID-19. This was how we compiled for you. Okay. However, it would be great if you can find such funding opportunities by yourself, and you will be able to use it to find other funding opportunities, or to keep yourself up to date about the funding opportunities in certain research area like COVID-19. That's how we will do today. Okay. So now come to grant search. There are two ways we can learn about grant funding opportunities. Number one, do search. You have a specific topic in mind, such as COVID-19. Okay, this is a new term just came up this year. Unfortunately, now we are all staying home. Okay, we are stuck with our families because of this. Okay, we cannot go to work, which doesn't feel that great after a while. So now I can do a search. So I have a specific topic in mind. I use keyword. This is called a search. The other way, which is equally important, is to receive recommendations. Okay, because grants come up all the time. I want to be notified when there are relevant grants. Search and recommendation are the two pillars. I would like to show you both of that. Let's start with search. We will start with keywords such as COVID-19, and I do a search. It narrowed down from the 27,000 grants that are related to this, narrowed down from 27,000 all the active grants to now about 700 or close to 800 here. Okay, these are active grants. These are active grants because you see the only filter that is set now is the status being open or continuous. You may be interested in closed grant. Let me click on closed. I can also just look at closed. Even though COVID-19 is a relative new topic, it already has a lot of closed grant, about 200. Okay, for example, this is expired a few days ago, March 30th. Okay, it's from Every Community Foundation. It's about some rapid response fund. This one, second one also expired March 30th. The third one here expired April 6th. Okay, so why are we showing you, and why would you be sometimes interested in closed grant? Because grants in general come in cycles. Some grants that expired last year might come up again, soon, maybe in a year, okay? Because they run might be annually. That's why you are interested in closed grant. And GrantForward that does index grants that expired in the recent past, which means 18 months. Of course, we hope a situation like COVID-19 wouldn't arise again, okay? So there's unclick closed. I'm looking at open, which means having specific deadline. I also click on continuous. This means grants that are always receiving applications, okay? And they are still active. So open and continuous, they're about 786. You can click on click on the title of each grant to view the detail here, the description, the sponsors. Remember, we talked about the sponsor directory. You can click on this to see what exactly is the agency that provided this funding. This is Emergency Nurses Association Foundation here. You can visit the sponsor to see what they are looking for with more information, the personality of this sponsor site. Okay, you can also go, let's go back to the grant here. You can go to the opportunity source. And this would be the original page where a grant is announced. You might be able to read more information that we have now summarized. Okay, you can add a tag to the grant. So you can add this, say, I can create a new tag. This tag is called COVID-19. So this means you can compile your list of, your short list of grants and give them a name. Here, I already have a list for Professor Smith. Imagine I'm working with multiple researchers. I'm a grant specialist. So I've compiled a list for Professor Smith, who asked me to select some grants, maybe in life sciences for him. I also have a list for biology faculty. Now I'm creating a list called the COVID-19. You can always view that in the favorite and the text list. Here, it shows the grants I have favorited, bookmarked, or I have added into different lists. Say, click on this list. I can see I have one grant under COVID-19. Okay, I have one grant for Professor Smith. So this is how you can manage your grant. And you can export every list, short list. If I export this, then I will have the list of grants for Professor Smith. I may send him by email. Okay, so let me go back to the page. Okay, so here we see you can also share a grant. You can fill in this email form. Dear John, this is a funding opportunity I found relevant. Let's collaborate. Let's consider it. Close it. Okay, you can favorite it. You can export it. You can export it through maybe a PDF file. Let's export it. Okay, so I've exported this grant to a PDF file, which you can send as an attachment in your email to share with your collaborators. Okay, good. This is about viewing the detail page. And I can scroll this down to see all the grants. And for some grant, you may see, for example, it says, I have viewed this grant 2 minutes ago. This is a convenient feature to remind you that you have already looked at a grant. Because when you are using similar keywords to look at different topics, different grants, you may see some grants coming up again and again. Okay, even though you are using different keywords, then this reminds you you have looked at them. You can also click on, if you don't want to see this grant anymore, you can click on this exclude from your search. Okay, then it will not show up again, even if you use a different keywords. Okay. So, well, why you don't want to see it? Because maybe you have already considered it, it's irrelevant. Or you have already considered it, it's relevant, but you have already put it in a short list. Okay, but don't worry, you can always go back to your history. Okay, you can always see grants that you have viewed and grants you have excluded, and you can revoke it if you want to reconsider it. So don't worry about making a mistake. Okay, so I've shown you how to use keyword, but let's say, how do I in general do a search? You may not want to start with a specific keyword like COVID-19, because some relevant grants may not mention a keyword that is so specific. Okay, although in this case it may, because this is not a well-known name, but in general, you may use a more broad keyword. Say infectious disease. So I'm going to look more broadly about infectious disease because, well, not only I'm interested in COVID-19, okay, I'm also interested in this broader area in general, and maybe also in some grants on similar topic. So if my proposal doesn't get in for this COVID-19, it could be considered for a future possibility. That's my plan B. Okay, so I'm using a broader keyword, a broader set of keywords, infectious disease. I do a search. I indeed get more, 1,000. Okay, now I want to specialize it. I can use advanced keyword search. I say here, I would like to contain COVID-19. That's my desirable keywords, but it's okay if it doesn't have it. But if it has it, it should be ranked higher. I also want to see maybe something about disaster response. I also want to see something maybe about infrastructure. So with all these keywords, let's do a search. You see, now it has infectious disease, so it has 1,000, okay? And also those grants that have COVID-19 or disaster response or other keywords are included like infrastructure, they will be ranked higher. So now this is how we meant by advanced search. The keyword we have entered earlier, these are all of the keywords, these are the and, the conjunction, they must appear. The keyword COVID-19 disaster response, these are the any keywords or disjunction or optional. If you insist, you can also enter the so-called negation, because you say, because of my high school memory, I don't want to do anything about chemistry. So I enter chemistry into the none part. I do the search. Well, it cut down a half to 534. It's quite serious. From 1,000 to 500, you may decide that you may want to pick up your high school textbook chemistry. After all, it's something you want to do as well. So then we remove that. Now we go back to 1,006 here. So this is how you use advanced keyword. However, these keywords are just dictating the topic. So how do you actually further filter it? For example, you may see some of these looks like it's for training. It might be for fellowship, educational. This may not be something you like to see because you are a full-time researcher. That's why you need to use filters. They are all conveniently listed at the left-hand side. We have already showed how to use status. And earlier in the COVID-19 page, we have also used the applicant location. They are also here. Activity location. Okay, so now we can use more. For example, let me use grant type. I don't want to see grants that are about fellowship. I don't want internship. I want to emphasize research project. I don't want any training. I don't care about traveling. Well, who can travel now? Nobody. Okay, I don't want the workshop conference. I don't want the postdoctoral. So others, I don't care. So you see now I've narrowed down to 345 from the 1,000 we started with. You can also do amount. We showed this earlier. Let's do this about 500,000. You can also do your in one of your questions from the audience, you want to see how can I find the grants that are maybe for PhD students. You can use this applicant type. Okay, say if you are an early career investigator, you are a young assistant professor, emphasize this. Okay, so the grants, they are for young people. Okay, I envy. Okay, this will be ranked higher. There are other categories, okay, such as undergraduate student, graduate student, or senior researcher, or other categories. Good. So now we have shown how you can do search. And after you are happy with your search, you may want to actually set a safe search here. I can give you a name. You know, my COVID, let's see, give you a name here. My COVID-19 grant. Okay, you give a name. And then you say alert frequency is every Monday. Given the special situation, you may want to say every day. Now save it. The next time will be April 17th, which is tomorrow, because I set it as every day. What will happen? Now, let me come to my inbox again. Every day when there are new grants that match your safe search, you will be notified, like this example, dear blah blah, okay? You have one safe search. The name is biochemistry, and it has 6 new results. This is your way to receive alerts. Well, so now this is a pretext for the next capability. You can receive results for a safe search. Can I receive results that are generally relevant to my research interest, like a newsletter, but not from the grant office, and not just for a whole college or for whole institution. It's tailored for me. That's called a recommendation. Okay, so we have earlier looked at an example of a recommendation email. Let's review again. This is a recommendation email. It highlights the grants with keywords like a database management, social networking, that this researcher really care about. Okay, these are the recommended grants from GrantForward, sent at a regular frequency. Usually people set it as 1 month. You can set it maybe as a week, weekly, or daily. So how do I do that? That's my next topic, recommendation. Okay, so this is a recommendation page. And it has a ranked list of grants with keyword highlighted. This looks very much like the search page we just came from. So what's new? Well, it's indeed new. Look at this. The highlighted keywords: modeling, social network, okay, data science approach, machine learning, related community, blah, blah. There are many different keywords. This researcher couldn't have entered so many different keywords. In fact, he wouldn't remember. However, when he sees these keywords, he would recognize these are all keywords that are dear to his heart because these are his research area. So, in other words, recommendation is simply a search by the researcher's interest keywords that are described in his researcher profile. We have earlier looked at this example profile as well. The owner of this account, he is a professor in computer science. His research areas are in web query, in social media, in proximity embedding, in web database. Okay, I understand this does not make much sense to all of us, but this makes great sense to this researcher. And this is the year 2019. And for 10 years ago, 2010, he was working on something different, well, something similar but different, like a relation extraction, query processing, okay? And even 20 years ago, he was working on something like a web query interface, data translation. It is this timeline of research keywords that describe his research interest to us. Okay, therefore, we will be able to send and discover and send all these relevant grants that contain the keywords that he cannot refuse to take a look. In addition, he can also tailor the recommendation to something of his wish beyond the keywords. For example, you can say, I want the amount to be more than 550K, the grant type to be not about fellowship. Okay, that's how he could control beyond the topic the grants that will be recommended to him. So how do you get this recommendation? Pretty simple. You just need to create your researcher profile, which can be created in just, well, under 5 minutes. You go to the researcher tab, click on my profile. If you do not have a profile, you can start creating one. If you do, you can edit it. I'm going to show you how do I edit a profile. And the process is identical to how you would create one from scratch. So here, there are 3 steps: basic info, researcher interest, and extra info. Every step shouldn't take more than 2 minutes. The first step here, filling name, title, department. This can even be auto-filled in. This shouldn't take more than 2 minutes. So we are done. The second step, the most important step, because we want to come up with all the keywords that describe your research interest, but we don't enter them one by one. In fact, we don't remember. The way that we do it is to ask you about where we can find your research interest, which means your publication. And there are 3 ways. You can specify a publication web page, you can upload a CV, or you can manually input. What does manual input mean? This may sound very scary, okay, but it's not. Manual input means, well, for any researcher, you often have somewhere you list your publication, somewhere maybe from your web page. You can simply copy this, or from your CV, you copy the reference text here. My keyboard, okay. Okay, you copy and paste the reference text, and GrantForward will take care of the rest to pass this out. Okay, you can also simply tell GrantForward the web page that contain your publication. So many researchers have such a page. So I enter one, is the system recognize this is a personal homepage. You can also be Google Scholar, such as a page like this. Many researchers also have Google Scholar page. It's also feasible. It may be also from PubMed, ORCID, or other profile service. So as long as you have somewhere that lists your publications, you can use that. You can also use a CV, and many researchers also use this. You can tell GrantForward to update by revisiting the source here every 3 months. Okay, you can tell GrantForward to update right now. Okay, now you can also edit the keywords, because some of the old keywords you may not be doing a related work anymore, because these were what you did when you were a teenager, not anymore. You could also unclick that. Okay, you can also add a new keywords, because we often want to get into new areas. Okay, so say I want a new keyword like infectious disease. Somehow I just get interested in this, and I want keywords about COVID-19. I haven't done anything on infectious disease, COVID-19 in the past, but now I want. You can give them importance. Okay, so now this is the second step. Just enter URL or upload CV. Now the third step, you can enter more information about yourself, your education, and copy and paste your biography, upload a nice picture, and set your profile to private, which means only your colleagues in the same institution can view it. This is default. Or public, which means everyone at GrantForward can see it. And set the recommendation frequency, such as monthly if you are looking for grants, weekly if you are actively looking for grants, and every day if you are desperate for grants. Okay, most researchers set as monthly. Okay, this is about the right frequency, and every month GrantForward send out about 30,000 to 40,000 emails that I've shown you as recommendation. Okay, good. Now I can save this profile. The end result would be the profile we have seen earlier. Okay, like the set of keywords and the list of publications. For example, for this researcher, it says all the publications were found on publication page. If you click on this, you will see the source that he has entered is this page that we have looked at. Okay, so you don't need to enter each publication one by one. You don't need to enter each key one by one. GrantForward will take care of that. Good. So now after I have entered this COVID-19 into my profile, it has not been updated yet, but it will. Okay, I will be receiving recommendations, new grants about infectious disease and COVID-19 as well. So now you don't even need to visit GrantForward to do the search. Okay, let me go back. You don't even need to visit our COVID-19 compilation page, which is here. Okay, because you will be notified about new grants if you put the COVID-19, this keyword, into your researcher profile. Of course, if you take 5 minutes to create your profile. Okay, good. So I've given you introduction of how to find the grant, find the COVID-19 related grants from our COVID-19 compilation page, how you can filter on these grants. I also give you an introduction about how to use GrantForward, the various personality of GrantForward, from pre-solicitation, grants, funded project, sponsors, and the researchers. I also show you the key pillar capability to learn about funding opportunities through search when you have specific topic, or through recommendation when you want to be notified of grants relevant to your research interest, to motivate you about what directions are fundable, and to be familiar with, to get a good sense about the funding landscape. Then you enable recommendation. So here I'd like to see if you have any questions. If you have question, please use the text chat window. I think I have time for 2 or 3 questions. Okay, so I got one question here, which is, what do we mean the filter here? The question here is about the filter. What is activity location? How is it different from applicant location? Location, as we learned in the experience of building GrantForward, is quite complicated. So there are 2 kinds of location. Applicant location is you as the primary investigator, your team. Where are you located? I am located in University of Illinois. That's applicant location. Some grants restrict only people from, say, New York apply. Okay, then what is activity location? This is where the research activity will be performed. For example, if you are investigating infectious epidemiology in a specific place, such as New York, okay, the activity location would be New York. It's possible that you are applying from Illinois as your applicant location, but you will be performing activity in New York. This will be activity location, and they could be different. Okay, thank you for the question. Oh, the second question here, can we build a profile for you? This is a good question. I don't know how you thought about how this question came to you, but indeed, although building profile is just a 5 minutes process, if I've demonstrated, some researchers, they are just too busy. They couldn't spend these 5 minutes. And yes, we can build a profile for you if you can send us. And especially if you have a standardized list of faculty information, such as, let me give you some example, UIUCCS faculty. I'm doing a search here. So I come to this. Okay. So this is a quite typical list of faculty or member list of an institution. And for each member, there usually is some information. So for example, some information, let's look at this. There's some information such as research or publication, usually not quite complete and not even very up to date. But as long as this information is still usable, representative, if you send us this directory, yes, we can create the profiles for free for your subscription at the GrantForward service, so that a large number of researchers, professors will be can take advantage of the service capability to do recommendation. Okay. Okay, good. Thank you. Looks like we don't have more questions, which means I've answered all the questions you have. So thanks for your time to attend this webinar on finding COVID-19 related grant opportunities, as well as how to use GrantForward. I hope you stay healthy and enjoy your time with your family when you stay at home. Thank you very much, and all the best for your grant application and your research activity. Bye-bye.